Hi everyone, welcome to Enjoy English. I'm Steven.
大家好，我是 Bernice.
Today's date is May the 22nd. We're on day 2 looking at pages 42 to 45 under features.
我们今天的专题特写进入到我们第2天的课程。
The title once again is The Power of Shared Humor in Memes.
是啊，我们在第1天呢已经知道meme 这个 term 是怎么来的，还有它以前曾经存在的形式是什么，所以呢，这确实是一个不容小觑的迷因威力。
How memes influence people's lives.
也就是我们这个迷因到底是如何影响我们人们的生活呢？
All right, let's find out.
好的。
The power of shared humor in memes. It should come as no surprise that companies around the world see memes as a valuable tool for reaching consumers. After all, what could be better for brand recognition than a funny meme that connects with a product and goes viral? However, creating a successful meme isn't easy to pull off, and one that misses the mark can damage a company's image rather than improve it. Most people are not interested in obvious branded content on their social media feeds. It is often dull, easy to ignore, and sometimes even annoying. However, a brand can tap into an existing meme to create content that features its products and still makes people want to share it. With a few tips in mind, any company may be able to make a viral meme. The first step is understanding your target audience. It's important to produce content that sparks their interest and helps them identify with your brand. Next, keep an eye on recent trends. Successful memes often reflect current events, and you'll seem out of touch if you use memes that are no longer popular. Memes are more than just pictures that amuse people. They can be powerful tools for spreading culture and building any brand's image.
It should come as no surprise that companies around the world see memes as a valuable tool for reaching consumers.
为什么这个 meme 这么样的 popular 呢？现在第2天的课程就告诉你，它之所以会受到这么多人呢，这个拿来使用，其实这件事情呢 should come as no surprise， 就是 it is not surprising at all， 一点都没有什么好意外的。什么东西一点都没有什么好意外呢 ？That 后面这件事情，就是在全世界呢，各个地方的公司呢，他们都把 meme 这个东西看待成为 see something as something， 这个 see 就是 view 啦，或者是 regard 啦 ，regard as something， 把它看待为什么呢？是一个相当宝贵的工具。这个工具要用来做什么事情呢？目的是为了 reaching consumers， 因为我没有办法跟每一个消费者能够接触得到，所以这个 reach 就是有一点触及到他，我可以了解到这个人或者跟这个人沟通的那个感觉，所以他这边用 reach 这个字。
Yeah, so consumers, that is a noun, and it comes from a verb consume. And consume, usually if you use it by itself, it means just to intake or to eat something.
对，吃跟喝都可以用。
Yeah, consume. And then it now is also used in the business world as like buying something.
对，
Okay.
就是你买什么东西。
So now when we say people are consumers, we're saying that 他们是消费者 people that buy things.
对。
Okay. After all, what could be better for brand recognition than a funny meme that connects with a product and goes viral?
没错啦，所以每一个人呢，大家都喜欢呢，对你来说，好像跟我这个心灵相通的感觉，有感同身受的感觉，所以他这个句就说 After all， 毕竟呢，有什么东西会比这个来得更好呢？那什么东西呢？他就讲了 For brand recognition。什么是 brand recognition？ 我们知道 brand 就是公司的这个品牌，这个产品的这个品牌。那 recognition 就是辨识度，也就是 你一看到这个品牌，你就知道哦，它就是什么品牌，哦，它就是什么。所以他这边讲说，有什么东西会比这样子，你要提升你的品牌的这样的识别度，那比什么来得更好 ？Then 如果你干脆就做一个大家觉得非常有趣的一个迷因吧，而且这个迷因呢是可以 connect with， 可以跟什么东西来做这个连结呢？可以跟这个产品直接做上这个连结，而且可以直接 goes viral， 就可以爆红了。有哪样东西比这个有趣的迷因更好呢
？So here we have that usage of go viral. Okay. When something goes viral, that means it becomes viral. Okay? Because a lot of times students will see go and like 去 viral. Viral is like just an adjective meaning like becomes instantly popular and everyone knows about it, like a virus. It spreads like that, but in a social way. Okay, so becomes viral or goes viral. Also here, I want to point out this sentence is actually a question.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
But the way I read it, usually when we have a question, our intonation goes up, right? Goes viral, right? But in this sentence, I chose to read it going downwards. Why? Because it's not really asking a question. It's using a question form to emphasize a point. And then, so this, like the way you read it won't be going upwards, like you're asking a question. You're kind of just being like, 不就这样子吗? Like that.
对，老师意思就是说，有没有让你回答？这个句子不是让你回答的句子，所以就是它是一个很明显的事实了。所以他在读这个句子的时候，这个语调就是不会往上飘了。
Yeah, it's just like in Chinese. 如果问你说，这不是很明显吗? Like, it's kind of like 我不是真的要你回我，只是我想要用一个不一样的方式来 emphasize 一件事情，强调一件事情。So it's just a technique that you can try to adopt as well. However, creating a successful meme isn't easy to pull off, and one that misses the mark can damage a company's image rather than improve it.
没错，这个句子就告诉你，你还是要注意小心的，因为我们知道这个 meme 这个东西，刚才我们讲，它原本是要让对方感觉，好好笑，好有趣哦。可是你要知道，有时候你的笑点或你觉得有趣的地方，有的时候可能人家并不这样子觉得，你没有办法让对方感同身受的时候，这个时候缺点就来了。However， 然而，你要创造出这样一种成功的迷因呢，其实它并不是那么容易。什么样的容易呢 ？To pull off。Pull off 就是 succeed， 就是你没有那么容易就可以成功做到这件事情哦。而且呢，如果 one， 这就是 one meme， 其中如果你做了一个迷因，而且这个迷因是怎么样的迷因呢 ？Missed mark。什么叫 missed mark？ 就是指你没有成功，你没有达到你的那个 mark， 没有达到你的目的的话呢，你不但是会损毁这个公司的这个形象 damage。他的形象 rather than 而你完全没有办法提升他的形象。
Yeah, so I love this sentence because there's so many things that are introduced or that we are trying to introduce to you guys. Like isn't easy to pull off.
没错。
And then miss the mark. I think these things are constantly and often seen in the English language, but maybe in everyday English conversations, you don't hear them all the time, but it's good to know the meaning of them and how to use them if they ever do come up. Okay. All right, let's take a short break.
好的。
Most people are not interested in obvious branded content on their social media feeds.
好，第二段他就讲了，其实大多数的人呢，他们并不是那么样的感兴趣。对于什么东西他不是很感兴趣呢 ？Obvious 就是很明显、显而易见的这种所谓的 branded content。其实这种所谓的 branded content 就类似我们现在所接触到的这些所谓的广告，网络上面这些品牌的置入内容，就是某一些品牌他想要打一些广告，他就会硬是要我们把这些东西吃进去。好，尤其是在他们的这些所谓的社群媒体的动态上面。
Yeah, content in in Chinese it's like the 内容 right? Now when it comes to social media, we know it means like the videos or the pictures that you post. That's like your content on social media. Okay. It is often dull, easy to ignore, and sometimes even annoying.
好， 为什么大家对它不感兴趣？总有原因的吗？因为呢，通常我们会觉得这些所谓品牌置入的这些内容，不管你是放一个什么短片啦，还是什么样的歌曲，什么样的，我觉得它好无聊哦 ，dull 这个字就是 boring， 怎么那么样的枯燥乏味呢？甚至很容易就被我们 ignore， 我们很容易就会忽略掉它了。而且有的时候我们甚至觉得这些东西好烦人哦，怎么一直看到，一直听到，对不对？打开来这个 social media 就看到这个东西，所以你会觉得很烦人。
Yeah. Here, the word dull is just another word to use instead of uninteresting or boring. So I do want to call attention to the pronunciation of that word because a lot of times my students, they don't really necessarily stick their tongue out when it comes to L sounds. But I do think it's very important to start getting used to that.
Yeah.
Because in Chinese, when we're speaking, we don't need to stick our tongue out for words.
No.
Right? Even with la la la, like, our tongue is inside.
都在里面。
Yeah. But when it comes to the English language, when you see the letter L, usually you do need to stick your tongue out. So this is dull. So my tongue comes out and meets the teeth in the front. So dull.
对，所以你会看到他们的那个舌头会有很明显的这个往上升的动作。
Yeah, and sometimes you can get away with it without sticking it out, and people can still understand what you're saying. But then sometimes if you don't do it in certain words, people might misunderstand you or have trouble understanding you. So might as well have that habit. Once you start having that habit, then it'll be easier for you. But if you never do it, then it's okay to be misunderstood. It's not a big deal, but might as well try.
对，如果说你要把这个 L 的发音发的比较明显一点或清楚一点，让人家了解的话呢，你就是像刚才 Stephen 老师所建议的，你的舌头就不要觉得很害羞，不敢把它这个伸出来一点。那如果你觉得说你没有办法把这个音念好，那你不然就是第一个，你可以很努力的去尝试，要不然你就是可以用其他的替换字也是可以的。
Right. And I just suddenly thought of a word that people might confuse the pronunciation. Wah, wah, wah. Doll.
对 D-O-L-L.
Yeah. 虽然那是 O-L-L 等会念法有点像 all 全部的那个 all 所以它是 doll. And you still see my tongue comes out and meets the front teeth. Doll. And this is dull. Dull. Okay? However, a brand can tap into an existing meme to create content that features its products and still makes people want to share it.
However, 然而呢，这些所谓的品牌呢，一个品牌它其实还是可以 tap into。什么是 tap into？ 就是 use， 就是 take advantage of， 就是你还是可以利用呢现在现存的原本有的这个迷因呢，你可以自己再去创造出一些这个所谓的内容，而且这个内容呢，它其实本身就 features， 用什么来作为特色呢？直接就用你的自身产品来作为特色，而且你也可以依旧的让人们呢去吸引大家，然后让大家人们愿意分享你的内容。
So the word features, I know that's also the topic of our article, features. What it really means is, it just means contain or have. But when you feature something, that usually means that you're really kind of showing something special about this particular thing. Okay, so that's how we interpret that verb feature. With a few tips in mind, any company may be able to make a viral meme.
好的，所以呢，接下来就是说，其实呢，你只要记住一些小小的技巧啦，好 ，with something in mind， 就是你把它记住了。任何一间公司呢，很有可能都可以制作出呢一些迷因，是可以让你爆红的迷因。
Yes, and because there's a probability there, doesn't mean they necessarily, even if they have these tips in mind, make a successful meme. So that's why we have may be able to. It's not 100% for sure. And then what is a tip? A tip can mean 小费. Leave a tip, right? But it can also mean a pointer, P-O-I-N-T-E-R. What's a pointer? Use your finger to point, right? You're pointing people in the right direction. Okay, so it's just 一个小小的指令还是指的动作，让你知道怎么去做一件事情，一个小建议。Okay, so a tip can also be a small practical piece of advice. Okay, so it's just another word. Yeah, I'll give you a tip. 我给你一个小小的建议，
对。
So and then keep this in mind. 我们也会说 keep this in mind. 什么什么什么，就是要稍微记住这件事情。All right, let's take a short break.
好的。
All right, so now we're going to talk about these tips.
Yeah.
Right? The first step is understanding your target audience.
首先最重要的第一步呢，你要先了解到你的 TA 是谁呀？谁是你的 TA 呢？也就是你的目标观众、目标群众是谁？你要先了解我要跟谁去做这样的一个 meme 嘛，对不对？你也知道他们是谁，你才可以去接下来做下面的动作。
Yeah, so I also want our listeners and our watchers to keep something in mind, okay? I do like how this author, because in the last paragraph, we ended with like kind of saying that with a few tips in mind, like these companies can maybe make a viral meme, right? So it wouldn't really make sense if the next paragraph just didn't talk about
直接开门见山告诉你。
Yeah, and then just and told you other things, right?
Yeah.
So this is like when you're writing an article, like or writing an essay, you really do need to do things that keep the meaning like on track and make it easy for people to follow. So this paragraph starts out with just telling you the first step is understanding blah, blah, blah. Because a lot of times I feel like we emphasize trying to use creative ways or different ways to write a paragraph. But sometimes the most direct way, or the easiest way, can be the most effective.
这倒是真的，就是直接开门见山的方式，有的时候是一个最有效的方法。
Yes. It's important to produce content that sparks their interest and helps them identify with your brand.
因为他说这件事情呢，其实是很重要的。什么事情呢？就是第一个，你直接呢去制作出这个 produce 就是 make， 你直接去制作出一些所谓的内容，而且这个内容是要怎么样的一个内容呢？一样用这个形容词子语去形容这样的一个内容。这个内容呢是第一个，你要能够激发大家这些观众，这些所谓的 audience， 你的 target audience 他们的兴趣 spark， 激出火花的那个感觉。并且呢，也可以帮助他们呢 identify with。我们一样知道 identify with 就是指认同你，或者是感同身受，也就是产生共鸣的那个感觉，就是他们可以跟你的这一个所谓的品牌直接产生共鸣。
这个 identify, you can use the verb that we talked about yesterday, which is resonate.
Yes.
Okay? Helps them resonate with your brand. But identify is like, I feel like it's even a deeper connection with your brand. Like their whole identity, 他们的个人 is already connecting with your brand. They can see themselves in your brand.
对，就是完全的认同你的那个感觉。
Yeah, 因为跟他有关系。
是的。
So that's identify with something or identify with someone. You can identify with someone too. If we have the same kind of experiences and I can understand Bernice why she's unhappy about something, I can say, oh, I really identify with your emotions because I get it because I've been there before. Okay. Here we see that it's important to do something.
Yeah.
很重要去做什么什么东西. But in Chinese we say 什么什么什么东西很重要. We put it at the very end. So that's something to pay attention to. There's a lot of times when you can't directly translate. A lot of times like there's, it's like totally opposite. So that's something to look out for. And I do like when we say that something sparks someone's interest. So 起火花，让一个人突然有个亮的东西看到注意了，它引起我的注意 sparks my interest. Next, keep an eye on recent trends.
第二个步骤呢，就是你要去密切注意，把你的眼睛放在上面，有没有？所以就是让你密切的注意呢，最近的一些近期趋势。
Successful memes often reflect current events, and you'll seem out of touch if you use memes that are no longer popular.
对，为什么我们要注意这个近期的趋势呢？因为成功的这些迷因呢，它不仅仅只是在反映出来，反映什么呢？现在到底发生了什么样的事情啊？所以就是反映我们的时事。而且呢，你似乎呢可能会 out of touch。什么叫 out of touch？ 它原本的意思就是说，你好像跟社会脱节了，有没有？跟这些大家所喜欢的或者现在最新的趋势呢？你好像有点落伍了，你跟人家产生脱节的感觉。如果呢，你使用的这些迷因呢，他们已经不再流行了。
Yeah, I feel like it's quite stressful nowadays to try to always find things that are relevant or important to people nowadays because trends are constantly like changing.
Yeah.
I would say maybe changing like every hour.
对
You know, like
变得太快了。
something that's popular today could be totally forgotten tomorrow. Something that is hated today could be loved tomorrow. It's just very hard to always keep an eye on these trends. So
是
keep an eye just means like watch carefully, to watch.
Yes.
Like, you know, it's so hard to always watch these things carefully and know exactly what's going on. So here in this sentence, we see reflect current events. So this reflect means to show or represent these current events. And a lot of times reflect can also mean 反射. But
对
in this situation, it means more like show. 就是去给你看。
表现出来，对
Yeah. And then when you seem or when you are out of touch with something, that just means like 你跟这个东西 you're not connected. You know, you're not being perceived to be connected with relevance. 就是 you seem really out of touch with what's going on. 就是你感觉很像跟这些东西是无关的。
对对对，
Yeah. 所以很像你想去触碰它们，你就触碰不到。
你碰不到。
Yeah,
对
so out of touch. Memes are more than just pictures that amuse people.
他接下来就讲了迷因啊，它其实不仅仅只是more than just 好，所以它不仅仅呢只是一种 pictures 一些所谓的图片，什么样的图片呢？是会让大家觉得娱乐的图片，所以它不仅仅只是这个样子。
Yeah. And I call these kinds of sentences like a catapult sentence because you know after this catapult is like a device that helps you jump higher.
哦，
It
就有点
prepares
垫
you.
脚石吗？
Yeah, it prepares
Okay.
you to get higher. Why? Because we're getting ready for the end of the article. The punchline, the conclusion is about to come up. So here it's like, 他们不只是这样子. So you know 他会解释是什么，那它是什么东西，
对。
它的重点是什么. So we're
Yeah.
about to see this in the last sentence, the next sentence. Okay? They can be powerful tools for spreading culture and building any brand's image.
他们呢还可以成为呢非常强大的一些工具。什么样的工具呢？就是来传播文化，以及呢 building 就是指塑造出来，可以塑造任何其他品牌的一些形象的强大工具。
Yes. So, yeah, I think the previous sentence and this sentence work really well together, hand in hand. The previous sentence, like it kind of was just saying like what they actually are. Okay, they're actually pictures that amuse people.
Yeah.
But 他们不只是这样子。
对。
Okay, 他用这个方式 to like kind of have like the real
先
meaning of
铺一个
these.
路给你
Yeah,
啊
and
最后再告诉你。
可是那个铺路，它也是顺便让你知道它真正的意思是什么。不要忘记它真正的意思。But what is another thing that you can do? What's the other importance of or relevance of memes?
对你真正要做的事在后面。
Yes. All right. So hopefully in the past 2 days, you guys learned a lot about memes. So we'll see you guys next time.
All right,
Bye-bye.
bye.